Hello, my name is Justin Garcia, and we talk about the United States. The United States is a very important country for the world due to its culture and economy. This presentation we talk about some festivities of this country, but before that it's important to know some general data, such as it has a population of 331 million inhabitants. Being California and Texas, it's a most populous cities. The capital of this country is Washington, D.C. Has a beautiful flag which is composed of 13 red and white strips in addition to having 50 stars on a white background. But what is the meaning of the colors? Well, the 13 strips represent the 13 original colonies and the stars on the blue background are the 15 current states of the United States. As for its currency, this is a dollar which has been its official currency since 1792. As for geography, we can locate the United States in a center of America, having borders with countries such as Canada and Mexico. Currently, its president is Joe Biden.
Okay, so it's great to be here talking about this topic of the traditions of the United States. So we're going to talk about Thanksgiving. First of all, we need to take some historic context. The United States arises from the conquest of the British in America, with thousands of British immigrated and began to 13 colonies. Within the immigration, the Puritans also arrived in the southeast of what now is the United States. They came with the intention of creating their own colony with their own religious values, no longer in accord with those of the English Church. The arrival of the Pilgrims was in the winter in which they were not prepared to survive. However, the Indians helped them, and the following year, with their crops, the Pilgrims made a dinner to celebrate their abundance. The United States is influenced by many cultures, but in its colonizations, the French and Spanish influence was present, which all that time were also exploring the territory with while the British already established, produced tobacco. Along with the conquerors came ships with African slaves that will establish the beginning of slavery in America. We can see more specific influence in Louisiana, in New Orleans, where the French and slaves settled for a longer time as well as in California as the Spanish influence. Isn't it funny how this country was created throughout history by so many cultures? Now, the United States is one of the biggest countries that has such influence in all the world with like Hollywood. And first of all, it started with the First and Second World War, where the United States started to give such economic importance support to those countries that were damaged during these wars. So the United States established like their own values, the way to take control of their states, and it has to be a big presence of the United States nowadays in our lives. That is not something that we can do in our daily day. That we can say that the United States is related. So we are going to continue with my partner America, and she is going to explain more about it.
As my partner Tiffany was saying, we're talking about the USA. My name is America, and now we're gonna talking about its culture. The USA is one of the most attractive countries in the world, with more than 77 millions of tourists per year. Well known for its history, its film industry, its music industry, and its dozens of unique and historic monuments. The United States is one of the greatest cultural, political, and economic powers in the world. America was a multi-ethnic and multicultural society from the outset. Africans were imported primarily as slave labor from the Caribbean and West Africa, although some arrived as indentured servants on terms similar to whites. In the middle decades of 17th century, some blacks became free settlers, but by the close of the 17th century, slavery and African heritage became nearly synonymous. The ethnic and racial landscape became even more complex during the 19th century, and the continental expansions at lands that had been home to Native Americans and peoples of mixed indigenous and Spanish origin, and successive waves of immigration from Europe and Asia, followed the rapid growth of an increasingly diverse population. Tracking the mixed and unmixed descendants from these many traits is a theoretical possibility, but not one that can be easily accomplished with historical or contemporary data. And now the pop culture is everywhere, and sports and news dominate many conversations, and American culture and traditions vary greatly depending on region, ethnicity, and religion. The immediate family is the basic unit of American society. In American culture, dinner is considered the main meal of the day, though sometimes family members may eat at different times due to busy work and school schedules. Classic old American fare like hot dogs, clam chowder, or apple pie, and sweet potatoes represent down home or soul food cooking from the American South.
Hi, I'm Eduardo. Now I'm going to introduce you about one of the most important and popular traditions in United States. In Thanksgiving has a historical context that is based on the settlers of New England and Canada, who regularly celebrate Thanksgiving when they wanted days of prayer for blessings, such as military victories or bountiful harvest. And Thanksgiving Day is celebrated on the fourth Thursday in November, as specified in a joint resolution passed by Congress in 1941 and a proclamation issued by President Franklin Roosevelt in 1942. But how did Thanksgiving become a national holiday? Well, Sarah Josepha Hale campaigned for a national Thanksgiving in the United States during the 19th century, eventually winning President Abraham Lincoln support in 1863. He and subsequent presidents proclaimed the National Day of Thanksgiving annually until 1941, when Congress made Thanksgiving official by specifying the day of its celebration. But the importance of Thanksgiving Day is this tradition is important because it's a positive and secular holiday where they celebrate gratitude. It's also a celebration of the fall harvest and is the basic unit of communication with God.
My name is Natalia, and I'll be talking about what's done in Thanksgiving. Well, one of the best things about Thanksgiving is spending time with family. Many people live far from family members, and they choose to travel long distances to be with their loved ones. Some people also volunteer to serve food at homeless shelters. Others donate food or participate in canned food drives. Parades and football games have a long association with this holiday. It's a pretty common thing to watch football in Thanksgiving, and also I think one of the most known thing to do in Thanksgiving is gather with family and friends for a feast, and yeah. And I'm also going to be telling you guys some interesting things about Thanksgiving. For example, Abraham Lincoln proclaimed Thanksgiving a national holiday on October 3rd in 1863. The menu for the first Thanksgiving in 1621 was likely included lobster, seal, and swans. And the settlers learned agricultural practices from the Indians. I think another characteristic of settler colonialism is the settlers adopting a means of making a living that they have learned from the indigenous peoples. In this case, the Pilgrims and Indians, was agriculture. Americans eat over 280 million turkeys every Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving is the busiest travel day of the year. It has estimated that over 42 million Americans travel 50 miles or more by car over the holiday weekend.
Hi, my name is Alejandra González Escajeda, and now we are going to talk about why Thanksgiving is a great holiday to celebrate in the United States. As my partners have said before, Thanksgiving for American households can be an opportunity for cooking with the family and having fun with friends. And it also means a moment of joy with the ones you love. The famous turkey roasted, baked, or deep fried, the mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, and pumpkin pie represent a delicious part of the celebration. Nearly 90% of the Americans prepare these dishes. Thanksgiving Day can be a chance to help the others. Volunteering is a common activity. Communities often hold food drives and host free dinners. Parades are also a meaningful event in Thanksgiving Day. The Big Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade since 1924 in New York City, the largest and most famous, attracting some 2 to 3 million spectators along its 2.5 mile route and drawing an enormous television audience. The show can be seen as a big moment for marching bands, performance, and giant balloons. You can celebrate Thanksgiving too. If you have family in the US, you can spend time with them and share beautiful moments, or even if you don't, you can use this celebration as a help for the one who needs food or help doing volunteering. And now we have finished our presentation. Thanks for watching and listening.